This topic is frustrating for us.
Yeah. No, I actually like to relax and be taken care of. So
Okay.
if you can sponsor me and I don't have to spend my money, that's good.
Put your legs
Who am I to
up
say
and
no?
Mary, yes.
Ish, this looks long.
Is it long? The question, hey my daughter, this team is putting us on a serious one. It's an essay.
Oh, okay, this hits close to home. They say on your journey to becoming successful, you make a lot of sacrifices. Do you feel that the sacrifices you have made are in line with your end goal and that you don't regret making them? Did you guys get my question? Did you get the question? They say on your journey to becoming successful, you make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the sacrifices you have made are in line with your end goal and that you don't regret making them?
Sure.
Okay, so as a married woman, there's no more individuality. So I don't know what my end goal is. It's now our end goal.
Oh, yeah.
And have I made sacrifices? Yes. Do I regret them? I don't know. Because sometimes I felt like, I've made too much and I actually regretted it. But in regretting it and thinking about it, I found out that it was me being selfish.
Okay.
So that was why I felt like I regretted them. Knowing that we are two now, we're no longer, it's no longer one, we're two as one. It's not longer about me. So I could identify that I was being selfish. For instance, I had a good paying job because I'm an independent person as well, and I love to be a career woman. I love to wake up in the morning, dress up, and go to work and be on my table and be a boss.
Yes.
And I had a very good job, and then my husband comes one day and tells me, I've been transferred to South Africa, so we have to leave. And that meant I had to quit my well-paying job.
Yeah.
Knowing that if I had stayed there, I would have gotten promoted and I would have been at a higher level.
Yeah.
I don't know what's waiting for me in South Africa. I don't know if I'll get a job in South Africa, but I upped and left with him. And then I came here and shocked I couldn't get a job for years. Then I started thinking all my decisions. Why did I just leave? Like, what about me? Why did he just say, I've been, transferred, and I didn't think about myself. I picked up everything and left with him. Why didn't I think about myself? Why didn't I tell him, okay, you be there, let me also work to make a career. While you're there, if I'm able to get a job, I'll join you. Otherwise, we'll find a way to meet. Do you understand? And all of these thoughts led me to deep depression. Because I didn't like my life. I was sad. I don't like being idle. I like working, and I was forced to be a housewife, which I didn't want. I have too many degrees to sit down at home.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. And I used to cry myself to sleep sometimes, maybe when he's not around, I'm just crying, saying, I don't like my life. Why did I leave Nigeria? Why did I follow this man? You understand? Till the boss came along, and then I felt, okay, it was good. I was busy again, I was doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And now he has told me again, I've been transferred to Nigeria, we have to leave. And while he said this, I sat down to say, what about me? Why is he not thinking about me in all these decisions? Why is it always about him, and why am I having to bend to everything he's doing?
Yeah.
I have to ask myself that question, and I'm saying, well, at the end of the day, is it good for both? It's good for both of us that he's elevating.
Yeah.
Because if he's elevating, he's taking me along with him. However, the sacrifices are coming from me, not him.
Not him.
And being too aware of myself, I felt like, why am I always the one bending? Okay, if I say I don't want to go back to Nigeria, why aren't you rejecting the job to stay here for me?
Yes.
If I could live for you, why can't you do the same thing for me?
Yes.
And I asked myself, is that really what you want? And the answer was no. I just wanted to make a point. I just wanted to feel like I didn't have an end goal. I was just following him wherever he was going to, because that is not the kind of person I am. I'm the kind of like independent woman in my head. So why am I being so dependent on him? I didn't like that, but I had to ask myself hard questions. I did acknowledge that I was sacrificing for him, and this is affecting my success. He has it going for him. I had a gap year of 2 years with nothing on my CV. That's bad for business because I'm in human resources. It's bad.
Yeah.
If I see that on your CV, I'm not going to hire you. Then why have you been, doing nothing for 2 years? Because the brain kind of like erodes if you're not using your brain. And then I said, it's not good for me, it's not good for my end goal, it's not good for where I want to see myself at, but now we're a family, we're a team. So whatever is good for him is kind of good for me. However, to make these choices, after I learned from coming to South Africa and I didn't have a job, I had to tell myself, if I'm going to make any other sacrifice, I have to find a way to make it work for me. So what will I advise anybody? If you're going to sacrifice, make it make sense. Be able to justify it to yourself so that you don't wake up one day and you're mad at yourself that you threw away what you should have been doing for someone else.
Yeah.
Compromise will definitely happen, but do it for you. Make sure it's making sense to you. Answer.
Okay. Would you start a business with your best friend, or do you think that that could jeopardize your friendship? I did start a business with one of my closest friends. She was actually my best friend. But I found that we at some point started arguing about like small things. And then it got a little bit like, there was a little bit of aggression. And I'm like, wow, this is a bit too much. But yeah, we did it. I mean, because it was something that would benefit us both, and I would have still been continuing to do it, just COVID and all that. But what I got out of that was basically, before you go into business with your friend, you need to have a discussion about the dynamics, because now the situation is changing. We're not just boys. Now we're business partners, and that already you wear totally different hat, right? And like the way I'm so used to, oh no, she's always so fun, so like, and all of a sudden, it was also wrong on my part. I'm like, ooh, why is she so serious? But actually, I realized because it's business, bro. Like, I mean, there's no time to mess around here in any situation or position. So I think this goes out to friends or best friends. I mean, if we are going into a certain venture together, I think it's very important for you to have a pre-discussion and know that, look, it's good that we're boys, we're very good friends, but we are now going and we're doing this thing, and obviously it's a learning curve. I mean, we didn't expect for us to have, you know, a hiccup or a situation that come about that we are not, you know, okay on the same page with. But if you see something like that has happened, I mean, you go back and say, for me, this is ABC, and I take this thing seriously, and this is what I would do. So it's important to also look at them wearing a totally different hat, and that's what I didn't do. I was just like, boys for life, and then yeah, it was not great. It wasn't great. Yeah. So that's just my take. Just have the discussion. Yeah.
Anyone wants to add on?
I can. Before now, I would say never. I don't want my friend in anything, because I think you'll be unserious knowing that we're friends, so you can tend to do anything and be like, well, she's my friend, she won't say so. So I'd rather a stranger, because I know that strangers are more respectful to people who they don't know, respectful of your time and other things. But I think I can do now with a friend, just that it depends on the friend. So if you're a friend I think is too sensitive to somehow that if I decide to scold you, you get upset, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Just let's be friends. Yes.
Yeah.
Because when I do business, I'm not Pearl, your friend, anymore. I take business seriously. And when I'm doing business, then you're going to see a different side of me. Deadlines. Why haven't you done this? This, that. We are girls. For instance, if I need something from her and she's not giving me, I can be like, Davina, what's up? You said this time. Why not this time? I know that she's only taking to heart because she understands that I have to wear that hat to do that. So somebody like this I can do business with. But if you're someone that, when I get into that mode of business, you want to bring in the friendship to say she didn't respect my feelings into business, please stay away from me. Let's be friends. Let's not do business together. So I think it depends on the friend.
100%, yeah. I think it depends on the friends, and I think your level of maturity.
Exactly.
At this point in my life, I can. Because I can be like straight up with people. I can be like, yes, no, you messed up. You know, sorry you're not getting your cards.
Stop. Hey, this recipe, I don't know which one I picked, but guys, it is what it is. Hey, it's a very long question. Hey,
Questions are long.
yeah. Hey, it's him. Okay, What was your unique selling point and how did you make it work for you towards the woman that you are today? Should I repeat the question? Did you guys get it?
I got it.
What was your unique selling point and how did you make it to make it work towards the woman that you are today? Yo, my unique selling point, guys. Hey Matung, what is my unique selling point?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question because I have been in the fashion industry for 13 years. Yeah, and then now diversifying it into entertainment has been quite interesting, and beauty pageant. So now merging the three, I think that's what it is. I had to merge the three to make it work with this new COVID. I think that is my unique selling point, you know, and the fact that I'm short. It's like, yeah, what is she doing in the beauty pageant industry? I mean, this woman. But I made it work because I won an international pageant competition. So with that being said and opening a platform to actually be the mentor for a pageant that I just did, and judging the beauty pageant was a selling point for me. To actually say, you know, I'm in the fashion, I'm in the entertainment, but I can actually get into the beauty pageant. And for me it was more about self-development, because the beauty pageant is all about the persona, the outer appearance, self-care. But then we forget about what's inside. So for me, my selling point was self-development, really grooming these girls to believe in themselves, to love themselves, to really redefine their identity. That was my unique selling point. Feeling it, the vibes.
Okay. Okay. This one looks like it's too long. See, I told you. Why do successful people love telling upcoming people that they should believe in themselves and do all that introspective stuff, but they never give us a formula and step by step on how to overcome certain challenges? Because there's no formula. Like how I got onto the buzz, how Pearl got onto the buzz, how Rachel got on, how Zana, we're so different. Our journeys are so different. Our stories are so different. If I were to tell you my formula, it would be like, if you see something, just audition and apply. Me, I auditioned. You know, that's my formula. But it might not work for everybody. Sometimes, you know, people say, I auditioned to 200 things and I've never gotten a call back. Right? So that means my formula doesn't work for you. But I think what worked and what can kind of go across the table is the introspective stuff. Is the you have to believe in yourself. I've heard Pearl say this, and I've said this, that when we did the Buzz video, I knew in my Noah, I knew that the minute I sent my audition video, I had the job.
Yeah.
I just that like wait 2 weeks, we'll get back to you, okay, cool. But I knew that what I had put on the table and the Davina that came out on that video, the job was mine.
Yeah.
And funny enough, apparently they were not going to hire me.
Why?
Long
Because you
story.
were so opinionated.
Yeah, because I was too much. I was too
Yeah,
much
you
for
were
the
too
show.
much.
I was like, where's this babe coming from? But, you know, I knew what I knew, and whatever happened, and the universe did what it did. And so I think that's why people say that. Because it actually really matters. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? If you don't believe that the job is yours, whether it's being a creative or it's applying for a job, I've never walked into an interview and said to myself, I don't know. Like, I walk into an interview and I scan the room and I can tell you I'm getting this job. This is my job.
So
belief, self-belief.
no, I don't necessarily believe in self-belief. I think people do know sometimes but don't want to say, because some people are okay being successful and you not. So they don't want to tell you all what they went through. One, I believe sometimes some people don't even know how they got there, so they have nothing to say. They just know that they hustled and tried different things and something worked out, so they don't know the formula. Three, I think some people must have gone through some things that are so unpleasant to say, so they can't tell you. They just make it look like, just believe in yourself, wake up one day, tell yourself you can do it. We all know It's
It's
there was
motivation.
something that you did. And there's a question we ask as HR if you come for an interview and I'm interviewing you, I ask you, why should I hire you?
Yes.
It's something.
The why.
It's the why that makes you stand out. And that's one thing most people don't say. Now, we've shared our audition videos. I sent her mine, she sent me. And she saw mine, she was like, ooh, girl. For one, I knew that presentation matters. I looked my best, I dressed my best, and I let my personality shine. So I knew that there's no way they will look at this very clean video and not be like, who's that? I wanted to capture their attention from the moment they clicked play. It was very, very strategic.
Yeah.
Good lighting, look good, a face that they want to see. She has sent me
Presentation
hers.
counts. Yeah.
Hers wasn't as glamorous, but Davina, she's. When I saw her video, I could tell why they picked her. You know, she's so dramatic. I told you she's very dramatic. She is too dramatic, you can't miss it. So she's talking to you and you'd be like, yo, I'd love to see more of this girl. So you're going to pick her. I don't know about others, but I know we shared ours.
Yes.
There's usually something. You said you went for a pageant, and even though you're short,
Yeah.
now that stands you out because everyone's expecting something tall, and it's she dared to come here. Don't you see your mates? See how they are tall and you're short, and you believe in yourself. Then they are watching out for you. So there's usually something, but I believe that it's either they don't know how they got there.
Yeah.
They do know, but they want you to be successful, but not as them.
Yes.
Or they don't want to say exactly what they went through because it may not be pleasant. But there's always a formula if you think about it very well.
There's always a way.
The backbone of being a creative is believing in yourself. If I tell you how many times I've done videos and I've watched it and I'm like, oh damn, that's good, you know, that's good. And then I put it up. No, it's a real thing. And we put it up, and then put it up, and I'm like, oh, only really like this is my best work. And then the thing that I've and then the vlog, because I'm on YouTube. So and then the vlog, I'm like, fun times, 1,000 views. Okay, you know. So the very backbone of what you do in life, whatever it is, you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because that one time I got 100 views, I would have stopped. And I'm like, hey guys, I think
This is not for me.
let's call it,
It's
hey.
not my thing.
Let's call it. And funny thing, the funny thing is, my story of the buzz is that a YouTuber sent me a link for the agency I'm in now that I used to apply the buzz. They're like, oh, I'm Swahili speaking, you live in Joburg. I'm like, yeah. I think you should try voiceovers because you sound good. Like when you talk, I'm audible. Like you sound, you know. I think you should try it. They're auditioning for this thing. I actually thought it was a scam because they DM'd me. I'm like, I asked all these questions. Which company? What? And then they gave me all these things. And I'm like, okay. So I went in. I did the audition. They loved me. They got me in. So I started as a voiceover artist. And then they're like, oh, actually, there's this job. I don't know if you want to apply for it, but I think you'd be good. And I'm like, look, I'm willing to try, right? So, but I was, if I was not on YouTube or not doing anything, if I was not on Instagram, not on social media, that lady would have never known me, and I would have never been like, you need to join this media, this agency, because they look for talent, good with voice, with what. This is your thing, and I would have never joined it, and I would have still been sitting there, wondering what my purpose was, wondering what next, you know. So sometimes that video that had that 100 views was maybe where that person saw you, not the video that I had 1,000, 2,000 views. So my thing is, don't stop doing it.
But can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So if we were in a press conference now, someone says, hello, so Rachel, what do you advise me if I want to get there? Is it you telling me believe in yourself or telling me put yourself out there? Because like you've rightly said, if you're not on social media, if you're not doing anything, you may not have gotten the opportunity. So why don't you tell people, put yourself out there, even if you fail, keep putting yourself. That I think that would be more realistic for me to hear than telling me believe in yourself.
No, obviously, like that's what I'm saying, in whatever you want to do. I mean, my thing is I'm a creative, right? I create, right? And in me creating, I need to be like, I want to do, this is what I want to do. So that's what I'm saying. Whatever you're doing, you need to believe believe that it's going to work first. It's going to work out for you. Otherwise, you'll be doing it like, oh, I'm just doing it to do it. Then otherwise, you won't even be serious. If you're posting on Instagram, if you want to do this content creation, if you want to be in the AHR industry, you have to take yourself seriously. Otherwise, no one else will take you seriously.
I don't care if you're taking yourself seriously. I think you want to make money. If you want to know how to make money, make a good CV, work out your CV, make sure, proofread, let somebody proofread it and show that it's okay. Begin to woo companies. I prefer those practical solutions than you just telling me, believe in yourself and you make it.
But you have to.
You have
the
to.
foundation.
You have
of it.
to.
The
That is
foundation
there,
of
and I
it
think
is
you shouldn't
yourself.
end
In yourself.
there. If someone is asking for
It
formulas,
never ends
let
there.
it not end there.
That is why
I'm
I'm for
saying.
Pearl. I'm for Pearl. Let me explain where she's coming from.
Okay.
Because I can see you're all coming. Hey, it's warfare, yeah. Warfare of success. For me, there's a limit of this where you draw the line, believing in yourself and how much people can believe in that content or whatever you do, right? So as much as you create that foundation of believing in yourself, it's the how. Remember, there's 3 foundations: knowing your why, and your how, and then your what to get there. Right? So now when you follow through, there are so many people who have been on Idols. They so believe in themselves that if the world would crack, their voices are not good. It's true. And they're like, I am the best singer ever. And they will go to Idols and embarrass themselves. So that is the foundation.
Yeah, which is why.
Yeah,
you know
what? But then this person was determined to do it for whatever the reason may be. But there is talent, there is skill, there is knowing yourself. There's a lot of things aligned. And that is where people don't really explain. By believing in yourself, know yourself.
True.
Know what you're good at. Know your skill set. To be able to sell yourself, to get what you want.
100%. Sorry, Davina. Before
Can I hear
when you
amen?
jump in.
Amen.
Sorry,
Amen.
I'm sorry, I did that. That is why I say don't stop at the 100 views, because for me, when I started, obviously I wasn't getting as much. I would have easily just said, I guess this thing is not working out for me. I've believed in it. I've done it in it. I still have 100 views in it.
No.
Right?
So then I kept trying.
No, I didn't know the best of my
I'm
ability.
gonna need an opportunity.
Okay, go ahead and do it. Sorry.
So I think what comes out of this for me right now is that you see how different we are, how different we all are, such that for me to be able to send my video, I just needed to believe in myself. For you to do your video, you had to make sure that it was daylight, the light was right, you was behind a white wall. You're more technical that way, right?
Yeah.
Which is why when this question is asked, it depends on the person that you're speaking to. And it depends on at what point in that person's life did they get their break.
Okay.
If your break came at the point when you started believing in yourself, your only advice is going to be, honey child, believe in yourself. If someone else's break came the time that they realized that, no man, I can't just send a video. The lighting must be right. It must be daytime. I must have my makeup done, and I must do and I must have practiced my lines. It depends on at what point that person's success came along. That's why this question cannot be wrapped up and given a formula, a conclusion to say this is it, and this is the textbook, and this is how it's done.
No, but the question says,
reality.
why do people always say believe in yourself instead of saying what they did?
Yes.
Now, everybody knows you should believe in yourself, but we know that it doesn't just end there. If I'm asking you for advice, I've heard it all my life, believe in yourself. That's not what I'm asking you. How did you get successful? I want to know. You can't just end it at believe in yourself. And that's what most celebrities say, just believe in yourself, you will get there. We know it's not that easy.
Right.
If I believe in myself,
What else do I need to do? Do I need to fine tune what I'm doing? Do I need to do more? And things like that. Do I need to put myself out there?
Okay.
Do I need to have social media to see ads or things? Don't just end it there. It's not fair to people
Which
who are coming up.
is why when you want to know what these people are really doing, is to listen to them, listen to their stories. That's
Most
what
of them
you-
tell you brandish stories that they want you
They
to do.
don't.
no,
I don't think
So
everybody.
many,
not
three
everybody.
quarters,
So many
three quarters, not everybody. everybody?
Yeah,
Not
so many
let's
people
speak
just
for
tell
everybody.
you
Okay.
rubbish stories. Grace to grass. I woke up one day and said, I need to believe in myself, and then my big break. We know all these things. We hear it from celebrities, but can we be practical?
But
The
for me
challenge
as a
is
person,
behind
and
the scenes.
yes, for me as a person and as an individual, what I do, right? Carrying it forward from the bars or whatever, in whatever platform I'm in, I try to assist, right? So for example, if I'm talking about motherhood stuff, I like to do that. I like doing that, right? And I know, hey guys, this time we've been challenged with this because of COVID. This is what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? Let's bring a conversation. Let's talk about it. I have never, not once, ever said that, oh, I did this one video only and I got lucky and I got, it was never like that. And my audition video was like yours. I made sure my setting was well. I made sure I'm at least looking presentable. I just put the baby to sleep. I wrapped up something. I did the little makeup I could do at that point and looked presentable. I've never once said that, even when when we were going to the rounds of interviews, was like, I just said, and I kept auditioning. For that year or whatever I joined that agency, I kept auditioning for many things. Bars didn't just fall on my lap. There was so many other things that came about, like, you can do this, you can do this. I auditioned, oh, what did they say? Oh no, you're too light. Oh no, you're too short. Oh no, you're not the person they're looking for.
Yeah.
It happened. It happened, and that is the reality. And for me, as I was telling my story personally, I was like, don't expect it to be just a one-time thing. You go in there, people will love you. It could happen, by the way. It happens to some people. You just go in there and then there's this energy and that's it. But that is not the reality of most.
Yeah.
The reality of most is we did a couple of auditions. We've been doing a couple of things to get to that point. I mean, in terms of, let's say content creation, making videos, I made my first video, I was like, oh my god, I could have stopped there, but I kept doing it, and I kept doing it, and that's how personally I've improved to a certain point that I'm confident enough to be like, look, I can do this, I can create my own content, I can edit my own stuff, and anyone who DMs me personally, this is what I give to other people, anyone who DMs me, oh, what program are you using, what do you do, what do you suggest for this and this, for YouTube thumbnails, what are you editing with, I'm always sharing.
But that's beautiful. Now imagine someone asked you and said, believe in yourself.
Come on, but also then you also realize that she's answering specific questions. Because if you're gonna just come and say, how do I do it? Do what? Show me.
No,
Like,
someone is asking someone is asking
the question.
Someone is asking you as a successful person, your personal story. How did you get successful? How can I get as successful as you? Please don't give me. And please, if you're successful and you're popular, they ask you, stop that belief in yourself. You know what you did. Tell us, and if you don't want to tell us, just shut it.
I'm sorry, I'm always gonna
Stop
say
with
believe in
belief.
yourself.
Stop that.
Because I also believe that a lot of people don't believe in themselves.
It's true.
I believe that a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome. I suffer from it myself.
Me too.
And yet you're successful.
Yes, 100%. But I realized that anytime that I talk myself out of it, I have to talk myself out of it and be like, but D, you got this. It's literally a conversation that I have with self. To say, self, that believing in yourself thing is gonna come out right now.
Then give me the formula afterwards. What did you do?
I believed in myself.
No, you're a bad
You
girl.
must come and ask me.
So there's different formulas here. And it's gonna go on and on and on. You know what I mean? For me to conclude this whole thing, there is absolutely no formula. How I did things, how Rachel did it, how Pearl or Davina did it, it's different. How you'll get there, that's your own journey. That is your own journey. So for me, wrapping it up, I would like each lady to just leave piece of advice that you'd like to share with the audience. And what does success mean to you? Since now we've already wrapped this up with this question. So we'll start with Rachel.
A piece of advice, I'll say this in Swahili, then I'll translate. Raha jipe mwenyewe. I mean, that spoke to me this year. Do what makes you happy. Because I realize a lot of things flow from me. When I'm not okay, even my house, things are not working, you know, because now the nanny is scared to tell me that we're out of bread, and because I'm in a mood, and you know, you matter so much that if you're not okay, your whole household, your whole situation, whoever you're interacting with will be affected. So I try my best to love self, right? I've been in several journeys in my life whereby, as you start as a young mom, you have to give everything, almost everything to your child. But then I realized when I was empty, almost at a point of like I have nothing to even give myself, I realized that for this child to continue to be happy, to be in a safe space, to feel like, wow, mommy is doing this, I also need to be fine. And I think that's when I made the decision to be like, you know what, it's time for me to shine. And when I did that, I see that the faucets of my life are flourishing. So I told myself, whatever the situation is, I need to make sure I'm okay. I'm okay because if I'm okay, I'll be okay I'll be good enough to take care of the household. I'll be good enough to be a good partner to my husband. I'll be good enough to take care of my child, my business. Everything will flow as it should. So I really believe in that. And then sorry, the other thing was
What's success to you?
what is success to me? To be in a point of comfort, a point of no stress, no success to me is I can actually sit. And I've not gotten there, we're still struggling to that point. This is where I want to be, You wake up in the morning and you know that, look, I can sit here, have my nice cup of coffee, and everything is working. Everything is okay. I'm at peace. Success for me is peace. If I'm at a point of, look, I'm actually awake, there's no chaos in my life, everybody's happy, everybody's flourishing around me, then I'm happy. Then it's peaceful. Success is peace for me. That's it.
Advice to you: don't stop learning. If you think you know too much, you won't learn anything. And look at every opportunity you see as a learning curve. There's always something to learn from everyone and every situation, even children. There's a lot I've learned from just observing children and things. So don't stop learning. If you want any particular thing, you want to get some, if you're asking how to be successful, learn. Just whatever you want to do, learn everything about it. So don't stop learning. Stop acting like you know too much. Be humble and learn. And success is very relative, so there's not one definition for success. For me, I would say I love the good life. I love nice things. When I think I get to the point where I can walk into a place and not bother about how much is in my account and say I want this without worrying. Yeah, I wake up, I look at my house, I'm happy to say, this is my house. Any nice thing I have, I can get it, and then I have a retirement plan to say, okay, it's not just for the now. Even when I retire, I can continue to live my soft life. Then I think I'm successful. I'm not there yet. I'm working to it. But that's what success is for me.
Okay. Advice. Set boundaries. I think Black people, African people, we don't know how to set boundaries in our lives, with our families, with our friends, with ourselves, with our partners. That's why GBV is a thing. Because we never set boundaries in the first place. You never walked into a relationship and said, nobody's going to put their hands on me. That's the way I roll. So if this relationship is going to work, I need you to know that we don't do the hands thing. It's never a discussion we have. And so when it happens, you're shocked. But he's just doing what he thinks he needs to do, and then you're just reacting. So learn to set boundaries for everything. With everything, with everyone, with your family. It doesn't matter. With your in-laws, it doesn't matter. If you feel like, listen, Ma, I love you, but I don't need you here every 2 weeks. You're infringing on my privacy or the kids, or it's so confusing for us, whatever it is that you need to lay and say, but we'll come to you, or but you can, how about every 3 months, or whatever it is that gives you peace. So don't sacrifice your peace for, we do that a lot, for whatever it is. So set boundaries in your life. My kids know if my door is closed, Mommy's sleeping. She needs alone time. It's Mommy's alone time, and then they all stand at the door. But they know, I set those boundaries in place with them. it might not be, sure, I let them know if there's an emergency and someone's bleeding, please open the door. But other than that, don't come to my door if I'm sleeping. It sounds terrible, but I need rest. And otherwise, I would never watch any show because they're always there, and most of these shows have 4-letter words and whatever. So I don't watch a lot of stuff with them, or I just don't have time to myself. So set boundaries. That's a huge topic that can go so many ways and so many perspectives on it. But learn to set boundaries. There's a couple of books on boundaries. Find it, read it. What does it actually mean to have boundaries? I think we don't even know. Our culture doesn't allow us to have boundaries. We're not allowed to say this is too much for me, or guys, we had a function last weekend. Literally, I cannot be at another wedding this weekend. That means I'm drunk 2 weekends in a row, and my body cannot take it. We're not allowed to say that. Like, our culture is just like, she decides. This wedding, he's not coming, and then who does she think she? Nobody's going to be at her wedding. You've missed 1 wedding out of 16. All of a sudden, it's like nobody must go to her.
You're a bad guy.
So learn to set those boundaries. That's really my advice. What is success to me? Success is when you've reached, for me, when I've reached whether it's in my career as well, I think, where I feel like I can now impart the path or wisdom to others, where I feel like I can now tell others how to do it.
How to believe in themselves.
100%. Or whether it's as a parent, I can say, when there's a time, like when they're 7 and they start to act this way, do this or do that,
Yeah.
So I think when I've reached a point that I can impart wisdom, then I think I've made it. Whether it's in my career, whether it's in finances, to be like, oh, if you want to learn how to be a millionaire, follow the believe in yourself. Or believe in yourself. That would be my advice. So I think that would be success for me. Once I feel like I've reached what I have set as the top, as people come to listen to me just because they want to know how to believe in themselves.
Yes. Wow, it's been amazing having you ladies here. I really appreciate it. I really do.
We had fun.
Yeah, it was very insightful with all these long questions.
I know.
But we were strong. We answered. Answered. Hopefully the team got what they wanted. But just wrapping it up, I just want to say thank you for being authentic, being real. I love the sisterhood here. Off and in the show. It is what it is. I can see it in person, it's not just on IG Live, But we also want to thank our sponsor, End Go Hate from Leanne Dlamini. She sponsored us the t-shirts, where there's Sisterhood, Woman Up, and Honey. She has a clothing apparel where, it started off as a movement, and then she decided to do mugs, t-shirts, and journals for ladies that want to actually wear these t-shirts and, send the message through, or even just to empower. That little message just makes you feel good, And for me, my message closing this episode finale, for me, I think going through this journey with Incite, with Tendai, it has been tough. The team even knows how it's been. It hasn't been easy, but I think for me, I am grateful. I've learned a lot about what success is. And for me, my definition through this journey is perseverance. Building something from nothing. Because this is what Incite Tendai has been built through nothing, through collaborations, us coming together as an idea, and really contacting the people who are influential and authentic, and this is what it is. And each one of you actually resemble that. And also meeting with Pearl the first time through Instagram when I stalked her, having that opportunity.
Yeah, I need to interview her, you know?
And then now she brought her friends through to come through, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, ladies, and I wish you guys all the best, and a toast to the year 2022.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much, and I will be seeing you in season 2. Season 2 it will be very different from what you're seeing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. We'll see you next year. Thanks. Bye.